is 9 a.m. and I will call this Regional Transportation Commission meeting to order on January 16th, 2026. Madam Clerk, if we could please start with a roll call.
Okay, I have this hold music is going because Mayor Shivi was supposed to call.
Do you want,
but she hasn't.
do we take a
called in
break
yet.
or, I mean, we have a quorum.
We have a quorum, so we could go ahead and go.
Okay. Okay.
I'll start the roll call. Sandra Rosenberg,
Here.
Ed Lawson, Alexis Hill,
Here.
Bill Thomas,
Here.
Mari Luz Garcia,
Here.
no Hillary Shivi yet, Adam Spear.
Here.
Thank you, we have a quorum.
Thank you. If Commissioner Garcia could lead us in the salute to the flag.
Of course. Please join me in the salute to our flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. We'll now move into public comment. Madam Clerk, do we have public comment?
Yes, we have several this morning. Is my mic working? The first one is Steve Burley. Come on up.
Good morning.
You want me to sit, Madam Chair?
Absolutely. Make yourself comfortable.
Madam Chair, members of the Commission, good morning. My name is Steve Burley, and I live at 4330 Bareback Court, Sparks, Nevada. First, I want to thank all of you for your service to the community and what you do for the region. I worked at the RTC for 12 years, and I understand how much work you do, and thank you. Second, some of the comments I'm making today came from an HOA board meeting that was held in my community. Some are mine, some are others. I'm asking the board to extend the public comment period for the Northeast Connector so busy residents can have more opportunity to have their voices heard. The December 17th meeting was held when many people were traveling for the holidays and otherwise unavailable. Some had family issues. So I'm asking to extend the board accepting of public comment until March. This is potentially a $700 million project. More thorough public comment would be appreciated. The RTC agenda packet this month is over 300 pages, and all of you have to read that. And you serve on other committees and commissions. Giving you more time would also benefit your time listening to the public on this roadway. I'm personally opposed to the Northeast Connector, not only because it will harm the community I live in, increase traffic, noise, and cut-through driving especially, but because it is a symptom, or may be a symptom, of poor planning. The Tri-Center began in 2001. It's now 2026. It's been 25 years. We have known that it was going to result in congestion, gridlock, and huge infrastructure costs. Building a road that provokes a strong negative reaction could appear like the board is playing hide the ball, comment from one of the homeowners, with $700 million. There is no money. The executive director gave a very good presentation, and that was one of his comments. Other RTC staff said the same thing. Where's it going to come from? The RTC gas tax is currently 57 cents a gallon. Very few people in my community were aware of that. And it goes up every July 1. That doesn't count federal and state tax. One official warned that we may have to spend $1 billion on a sewer system replacement. Also, gas in California is going to get more expensive because they're shutting refineries. Now is the time to extend public opinion and give more time for the public to be heard. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Burley.
Next, we have Gary Troyer.
I'm also a resident of the same community. My address is 7640 Desert Vista Drive. I'm opposed to this project for many reasons, not necessarily in order. Nowhere have I seen any remediation for the cut-through traffic. Obviously, being a resident of Desert Vista Drive, you know that that's going to be a major cut-through at high-speed traffic because people don't listen to or pay attention to excuse me, speed limit signs. I'm also opposed to the La Posada cut through portion of it because of the noise alone that's going to happen from that cut through. You got major truck traffic that's going to be using that road, much of it from the rock quarry. And that road elevates above the height of the residences of the homes. That noise falls downhill, and a wall is not going to stop that noise, period. Those are a couple of my major concerns. I'm also opposed to the shortness of the response time or the comment time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Next, we have Fred Krueger.
Yeah.
Good morning to the board. Again, my name is Fred Krueger, and I live in Highlands at Cimarron at Orange Plains Drive, which is right up against the desert side and would be severely impacted by the connector that comes up from La Posada, should that be chosen. I'm against the Northeast Connector project for a couple of reasons. One, to date, since February until December 31st, your figures that I obtained, $483,000 has been spent to date. I don't think so. I'm very concerned about that. I think it's poor planning because not enough alternatives have been reviewed. And part of that is that the alternatives haven't addressed impacts to public land. The current alternatives being studied, the BLM land that's to the east of our HOA. I'm also against it because, unfortunately, I think, anyway, that RTC projects that have been completed, as soon as they're completed, have not worked. And I use one example being McCarran going north on Pyramid. From McCarran to Disc, you did 3 lanes. Very good. But right away, then it stopped at Walmart, and it goes to 2 lanes. The traffic is now, and that was just completed a year and a half ago, the traffic is now bumper to bumper going north as well as south in the morning, to the extent yesterday morning, fire trucks couldn't go through the traffic. So now members of the public are endangered when emergency vehicles can't go. Why didn't RTC go 3 lanes all the way north out to Pebble Creek while you had a chance? Because as soon as you go north from Walmart, it's constrained with sidewalks, barriers, and sound walls. So to extend it to 3 lanes further north, you can't. You're going to tear down a lot of work that's already been done. And now, Vista, you're extending Vista from 80 going north, only to Bering. Why not go further north to start with if you want to eliminate traffic on those 2 roads going to 80, getting them to 80? So anyway, that's my concern. I would like also to have the comment period extended on the Northeast Connector until March. Thank you very much. I
Thank you.
appreciate your time and listening very
Absolutely.
much.
Thank you.
Next, we have Joe Mudd.
Good morning. Thank you for the opportunity to speak to y'all. It's really a pleasure to be here. I am also a resident of Spanish Springs. I do support the connector to Vista, but through to La Posada, I have concerns over, one, the natural beauty of the area. There is some cultural significance out there. If you all are aware, the petroglyphs that line the area, something that should be gifted to future generations. I believe that the urban sprawl that we are experiencing in the moment does cause us a lot of concern and needs to be addressed. However, I would hope that in the future that we would have the foresight to have these beautiful things that most of the community enjoys, like I said, gifted to them with excellent forethought. Thank you for your time. And I also would like an extension on that public comment period. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next, we have Sandy Hill and Francis Julian. I'll give you room, Francis.
Good morning. Thank you for the opportunity to be here. We appreciate you. We just wanted to, I'm Sandy Hill, by the way, from Keolis, Vice President of Commercial Development. And this is
Francis Julian, Vice President of Operations for Keolis.
But we've had a longstanding partnership. I've been here since the beginning. We've been through many challenges, including COVID, and we are privileged to provide the public transportation system, the fixed route here. And we just wanted to say we appreciate the partnership. We couldn't do it without a productive partnership. The board, the staff, we've got Jim here, who we work really closely with, and we feel very appreciative of the partnership.
Yeah, no, thank you very much. It's a pleasure for us to serve the community on a day-to-day basis and looking forward for the next couple of years. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we have Valencia Ray.
Good morning, and I am a resident of the Cimarron Highlands as well. I am against the project for a variety of reasons, and so I'll just read what my notes I wrote just now. I'm against it for one thing, the cut-throughs, has been mentioned, the air and sound pollution, speeding through the neighborhood, which I consider also a danger to children. I also agree with the natural beauty, that is very important to maintain, the animals, the hiking that goes on through there, trying to then get across a 4-lane or 2-lane, whatever it is, road, the congestion crossing the mountain horizontally, going over to Golden Eagle, and then I can see where there's even more of a congestion problem trying to get across Touchdown to Home Run Drive. And so I'm also wondering if there's been a deep consideration for alternative routes, in addition to the cost, in addition to, yes, we absolutely need more time. I'm 3 years into this area, so what I've already noticed just in my superficial observation that I haven't noticed any conversation about the 4-lane existing Wingfield Hills connection between Pyramid and Vista. I tracked it myself, and it allows for 3 ways to get to I-80. If people coming from the south on Pyramid, from the north on Pyramid, turning onto Wingfield, 4 lanes, connects to then 4-lane Vista, and then turns right onto Home Run Drive, which is the road that could be widened, sitting in open space, going straight into 180, versus coming from the other direction and having to cross the entry point into Golden Eagle. So I just wonder about that. And then the last thing I would say is, well, actually, that's pretty much it. So yes, thank you for listening, and I hope this project doesn't happen for these various reasons. At this point, I might find out more.
Thank you.
We don't have any other further public comment.
Great. And I know that the attorney will remind me we can't address public commenters, but I do think it would be helpful if Mr. Thomas can do an overview of the project and kind of let us know where that's at. Is that okay, Mr. Spear?
That would be our typical approach.
Okay, great.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So for the benefit of the public, I just want to share that we are at the very beginning stages of this consideration. I've heard a lot of people say, what are the alternatives? What are the choices that are before the community to deal with the issue? And I think it's fair to say there's still a lot of things on the table that can deal with the transportation issue that we're experiencing, the community's experiencing, the region's experience on Interstate 80. So we're very early, frustrating for many people. A lot of times you have to start at the beginning with something in order to get to your end project. So I think we wisely, with the board's direction, spent some time to really evaluate what the choices are so we can have a informed decision. I will say that it's clear to me after this meeting where approximately 300 people participated, and I think we're up to about 400 comments, that the community is very interested in this project. I mean, bottom line, as a transportation advisor to you, there's a significant issue here, and I think we need to spend the proper time evaluating it. So I am thinking, which I haven't brought anything back to you, that we should, at a minimum, have a second public meeting.
Great.
And then I think what I heard today is pretty obvious to me that there's no consequence to us to extend the time frame. So I will go back after today's meeting and talk to our team about making sure that we let people know there's more time to comment.
Great.
And we'll keep it open. To be honest, we'll probably close it without picking a hard date. We might pick a hard date, but it really is at some point when the comments maybe start dropping off, then we'll close that down. But I can assure the board that we're far from being ready to do a specific presentation to you for a decision.
Great, that's good to know. So the website will be updated,
Yes.
and maybe we can do a follow-up press release.
We'll do that, yes.
Okay,
Make sure
that
the
would be-
public knows that it's still open.
Okay, and I just really appreciate the public coming out, and I wanted to make sure you heard that, so you can move on with your day, or you can hang out with us for the rest of the meeting. But I want to make sure you heard
Madam Chair.
from, yes, and yes, Mayor.
So under item 7 for commissioner announcements,
Mhm.
I will memorialize that to extend and have staff bring this back, extend the period and have an additional meeting.
Thank you.
So we'll do that under 7, so it's official.
Okay, that's perfect. So when we get to that point, we'll make sure that Mayor Lawson has that opportunity to bring that to the staff, and we really appreciate people coming out. And I think there's also on that Pyramid Highway question of why did we widen and then just stop? It's about money, because we have a plan to continue widening, correct, Manager Thomas? I just want to make sure folks know we didn't think like, oh, we did such a great job. We're done with this project. This is a multi-year, multi-decade project. Sadly, we just don't have the funding. So could you just confirm that?
Yeah, the challenge often for the community is transportation improvements are very expensive and take many years to get to the point where they're actually designed and constructed. So we're always a bit behind the curve. And I know people are frustrated with that, but that's just kind of the nature of the way decisions are made and the funding's available. So there is a long-term plan. You can go to our website and you can find out what the long-term plan is. Every part of that long-term plan is going to have an incremental decision, much like the one we're having right now, which is what is the right answer, how much money is going to cost, where's the money going to come from, and when it's going to be done. So we're perpetually in that evaluation and decision-making cycle, as the board well knows. So it is very important for the public to engage, to understand. We try our best to make sure our website has current information, but I always encourage people, if you have questions, reach out to us. We will find an answer, or at least tell you what we know about the issue at the point in time which you contact us.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. Okay, with that, and thanks for all of our public commenters, we will now move to the approval of the agenda. Do we have any changes? Okay, we have no changes. Thank you, Mayor
Second.
Lawson. Thank you, Commissioner Garcia. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, please say nay. Okay, we'll now move to consent. Do any commissioners want to pull a consent item? Not seeing any. Thank you, Mayor Lawson.
And I'll second.
Thank you, Commissioner Garcia. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, please say nay. That motion passes unanimously. We'll now move into our discussion items. This is 5.1, acknowledge receipt of the 2025 Construction Communications and Outreach Presentation. Welcome.
Good morning, Commissioners. Josh McEachern, Public Information Officer for RTC, for the record.
Paul Nelson, RTC Government Affairs Officer.
And we are here today to talk to you all about one of my favorite topics next to bagpipes and cooking, construction communications for RTC Washoe. So on the broader strokes, some of the things that we're looking at are telling RTC's story. So not just what we're doing in the community, but how it impacts the community, different ways that RTC is creating tangible improvements here in Washoe County, and how we can get the best, most accurate information to residents, businesses, community stakeholders, anyone that could be affected by our operations, and demonstrate our value to the community that we serve. There's a lot of pictures in these slides, guys. We had a very busy year.
A lot of ribbon cuttings, a lot of groundbreakings.
So one of the things I wanted to talk about kind of before the outreach team really sinks our teeth into projects is how engineering minimizes impact. And they do this kind of before press releases are sent out, before social media posts are made, before public meetings are planned. A lot of the time, these larger engineering projects include talking to local businesses, talking to local homeowners, securing right-of-way for different properties. And when it is affecting businesses in areas of like downtown, for example, Arlington Avenue Bridges project, there's a lot of work that goes into access. So things that you might not normally think of. How do your deliveries get made? How does trash come by and pick up stuff? That all is happening long before we're really advertising on our end. And that's just a testament to the work that the engineering team puts in well before in the design phase, long before we're doing pop-ups and nabs and cabs, HOAs, things like that. Let's talk about the internet. So one of the things that people rely on the most, and I think one of the more reliable resources for information, is our web content. And that varies from our RTC website, which is soon getting an upgrade, to some individual project sites like Sparks Boulevard Project, the Arlington Avenue Bridges Project. And those are opportunities for us to not only keep the public informed of the most important points of the project. Why are you doing it? How much does it cost? When is it happening? How does it affect me? That gives them the opportunity to sign up for regular updates. So a lot of these major capital projects, we actually are sending out weekly email updates on traffic control changes. If there's no changes, we let you know that too. And then some projects like Sparks Boulevard, for example, we even take it a step further and we actually send out text alerts if there are going to be major traffic changes. And the web content kind of ties into the overall outreach strategy that we employ. The fun stuff. Public meetings. This picture here was taken at the aforementioned Northeast Connector public meeting. That was a record breaker in my time here at RTC. We had 300 people attend. It was a very engaged crowd that was able to kind of learn about the feasibility and alignment study, kind of walk around, talk to people. And I think this year we had, I want to say, somewhere around a dozen to 15 public meetings regarding various projects that are in various stages of design and construction. It's a great opportunity for people to come out, talk to the engineers, talk to the design team, and talk to us and kind of put their minds at ease as far as, what are the major concerns that you have with certain projects and how can you potentially, assuage those concerns and educate the public as a subject matter expert. And they range from 300 people to this is a neighborhood network plan pop-up kind of public meeting based on I believe this one's Meadowood area where we had 15 very concerned citizens. So it very much ranges in, from 5 people talking to you for 3 hours to 300 people coming by, grabbing a flyer and leaving. And I want to kick over to Paul here because he has the distinct pleasure of representing RTC at a lot of our NABs, CABs, HOA meetings, things like that.
Yeah, so we make it a point every, early spring, maybe late winter, to go out and talk to the different NABs and the CABs to let them know what's coming down the road. And one of the things that's really nice about going and talking to the CABs and the NABs is that these people are the ones that live there. They know what is happening in their neighborhoods. They're kind of the boots on the ground, and they can tell us what their concerns are. And it's our responsibility to let them know what our plans are in those neighborhoods. So it's always good to go out there, hear what they're having to say, answer the questions they have. Sometimes they're directed towards us, sometimes they're directed towards NDOT or the municipalities, and we're able to answer the questions that they want. We do go out and give a lot of different presentations. Just last year, I gave 25 presentations to the NABs, CABs, different business organizations, different groups. And then on top of that, we have those public meetings where our engineers go out and they give a lot of presentations. So overall, we've got more than 50 presentations that we give every year. So this is a really good way to get out to the public, let everyone know what our plans are, and then answer any questions that they've got.
Yeah, long story short, we showed up a lot and people showed up to talk to us, and we're always very grateful for that. And I think the important thing is people recognize not only the subject matter expertise of RTC engineers and planners, but also the fact that when they make these comments, as you've seen today, they're not just filed away, they're often exercised, researched, and acted upon. And we also give presentations with our local municipality partners. This is the Prater Way rehab presentation that was given recently to Sparks. And one of the things I did want to mention is our kind of increased cooperation and collaboration with the teams at City of Reno and City of Sparks and Washoe County, as far as our little communications cabal, as I like to call it. 2025 was a great year for partnering on events like the Keystone Flip the Switch, several public meetings, PHB unveilings. Anytime one comms team can help the other one out, we're pretty quick to text each other and bug each other as much as possible. I'd like to talk about media coverage. We have a saying in the RTC comms team that the only people that are on the news more than RTC are the anchors themselves and the weathermen. This year is no exception. We had over 700 earned media mentions in 2025 alone. That helps us kind of not only hit the public in an area where they're very, very often consuming news, so maybe they're not as terminally online as my generation. Maybe they are kind of looking more towards Channel 2, Channel 8, Channel 4. We have a lot of really good connections with our media partners, and that includes things like The Road Ahead, our current segment. I don't know if, Paul, you want to speak to that? We had, 52?
Yeah, so we do the Road Ahead segment. We do one segment every week, and we are actually going to change the format of that starting. We're going to start shooting them next week. But we do one a week, every week of the year, so 52 segments, and it runs the gamut. We might do a safety story. We might do something on a specific project, transit-related things. There's a lot of different things we talk to. And then also every 2 or 3 months, I'll go over to Channel 8, and Josh Little has a segment that he calls Around Town with RTC, where we'll just have a conversation for 5 minutes where we talk about different things. Josh is great about sending press releases out when we have any kind of a story, whether it's a road closure or an update on like Arlington bridges, things like that. And what we've learned is that people care about transportation. So anytime we've got something big that we want to talk about, the media does come, and they do ask a lot of good questions, and that gets the word out to all the people around town that need to know about it.
Yeah, and luckily I'm not the only one in these pictures. We get to see Mr. Keller, we get to see Amanda. It's always nice to change the face every now and then, and once again, just kind of provide that proof of subject matter expertise. I could talk, I know just enough about engineering to be dangerous, but I like to bring on the pros when stuff gets hairy. And one of the things we talk about when we mention our earned media coverage is the local ad value. So you guys might have seen this already in your monthly outreach reports. One of the things that we like to track and collate is the viewership we're getting with these media mentions and the equivalent value if we had to buy that time on the air. And this year we had about $250,000 of earned media just with the news segments that we booked. And that varies from topics from the Northeast Connector to the Prater Way presentation at Sparks to transit changes. This presentation is very much about construction, but we also have a planning department and a transit department that are very busy that we do outreach for. And moving forward to some highlights from this year, you guys will recognize these because most of you were there. We had the Veterans Roundabout completion, Steamboat Parkway completion, which I couldn't believe it was in 2025. It feels so long ago. We have the East Lincoln Roundabout's completion, and we did do about 8.3 million square feet in pavement preservation. It's an unsung hero of RTC's work, but we keep an eye on it. And here you can see some of the completed shots of veterans. Obviously, everyone having a great time at the Steamboat Parkway ribbon cutting and the nice warm weather and the completed legends. So looking forward, we want to keep doing what works because it's working. So when we look at projects like Sparks Boulevard, the Mill Street Safety and Capacity Project, and the Arlington Avenue Bridges Project, as well as the Northeast Connector Feasibility Study progress, the things that we are kind of already doing work pretty well. And we just want to continue to kind of engage the public, educate the public as much as possible. And I wanted to leave some time.
Yeah, and when you look at this list of projects, they all cost a lot of money. And so we're constantly looking at what are some of our options for federal funding. So we're constantly in communication with our consultants in Washington, D.C., and then also with our federal delegation. And we'll talk to them whether that's about, getting earmark funding or getting support for discretionary grants and things like that. So that's just not one more aspect of the communications for construction that we do, especially when it comes to coming up with funding.
So we hope that helped kind of, in very broad strokes, illustrate what we have going on in the communications department. If you guys have further questions or if you ever want to talk about our advertising efforts for transit, things like that, Spanish language advertising, EdPass, YouthPass advertising, I could talk about this all day, but I know people have places to be. I wanted to leave some time for questions in case any of the board members have any.
Well, thank you. We really appreciate your efforts. And I know that you are everywhere because I see you, both of you, out at public events, which I really think is a great way to connect with community because we need to go where they're at and not always have a big meeting where folks don't necessarily have capacity to go to those things. So thank you for doing that additional outreach. And I think for the Northeast Connector, we're going to be really challenging you on that project because we want to make sure that we connect with residents and we hear their feedback. Also, I want to commend you on continuing to do traditional media because Nevadans actually consume local news more than you would think. And I think it's a really effective way. And then I do want to commend your social media. I think I've seen you really up your game. So congratulations. Mayor Lawson, do you have anything?
No, I just want to say you guys are doing a great job. Thank you. I know getting out there in the public and answering questions sometimes is tough. And there's some tough questions out there, but you guys are always there. Appreciate you being there and helping get the message out.
And Commissioner Garcia.
Yeah, I agree. This little trio we have right here is very strong. And I think what I like when you go out to the community meetings and the pop-ups and everything is you take very technical information and you just distill it and you make it relatable to people from all walks of life. And I think that takes a lot of talent. I also wanted to give a nod to the increased Spanish outreach that you've done over the year. It's really great for me to see that representation in an organization that does such great work. And I would like to encourage you to give a little bit more of a nod to the pavement preservation. It is so important that our community knows how much work is going into that and the really big challenges that we're facing ahead. And so if we can continue to tell that story, I'd appreciate that.
Yes, I think that you bring up a really good point because maintenance of roads is going to continue to be a challenge for us as a region. And so talking about the gap and what we're trying to do, and I think that's going to be great, especially as we potentially look at a ballot initiative to find out how we can fund these types of projects. So yes, we are doing a lot with a tiny, mighty team, and I really appreciate you engaging with the community in an authentic way. That's great. So we'll be in touch, let you know what else we need, but I really appreciate your work. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. We'll now move into reports. 6-1. This is a verbal update from RTC Executive Director Bill Thomas.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So as I often do, I start with things that are going on with our team here at RTC. So I wanted to talk this morning about a pretty significant change that we're seeing, and two very important people that are part of RTC. So first, John Ponzo, who's been our IT manager for 29 years,
Wow.
or has been with us for 29 years, obviously knows a lot, does a lot. As all of you know, often the IT departments are behind the scene and you don't know what they do until something breaks. But in reality, the fact that we can have meetings like this and things go smoothly really is a result, as you know, of people having the passion and desire to do their job well. So John's played a pretty critical role in a lot of big, important projects, including the technology at 4th Street Station, Centennial Plaza, our buses. We're constantly upgrading the buses in terms of cameras and communication, and John is integral in making sure that happened. He's seen a lot of transition, obviously, in 29 years, and dealing a lot with all of our idiosyncrasies as people with our computers. So very important member of our team, and we really are thankful to him and congratulating him on his retirement. I'd also point out that he actually was integral in designing this room and putting it together. So all the technology you see here was very much a result of John's effort. So thank you, John. I don't think he's here. He's probably up on his computer, saving us from attacks from foreign entities trying to steal our information. But the other part of this story is exciting too, which is, I know he's here. Max, if you don't mind standing up. So our new IT manager, Max Day, joined us on January 5th. And we brought Max in part because we want a little overlap with John. So there's obviously a lot of things that is known about our organization that may or may not be on a piece of paper. So Max has jumped right in, done a great job of integrating. You'll see Max and hear about Max going forward. Max has been working in the private sector in Colorado for the past 4 years, where he focused on software development and IT team management. Prior to that, he worked in IT at Truckee Meadows Water Authority for a decade. So one of the cool things about Max is he's local.
Yeah.
Even though he's coming back from Colorado, he's a local product. I think grew up in Nevada, right? And we're very happy to welcome him and his family back to Northern Nevada. And I think you'll be impressed with the skills that Max brings. And I think you'll see that in some of the products and the way we handle things going forward. So welcome, Max.
Welcome, Max. And thank you, John, for his service. 29, that's incredible.
Amazing.
Yeah, unheard of.
So moving on to some updates, the Nevada Legislative Commission recently appointed 13 members to the Regional Rail Advisory Working Group. And I wanted to share with the board that Jim Gee from RTC will represent RTC Washoe in the group, along with MJ Maynard Carey, who will represent RTC Southern Nevada. Along with RTC's members, the advisory and working group is made up of 2 legislators, a chamber member, 3 government employees from Washoe, Clark, and the rurals, 2 union members from Washoe and Clark, and 3 residents of Washoe, Clark, and the rurals. So very diverse group of people. I'll be very interested to understand where it goes, and we'll make sure we'll report back to you on the efforts of this group. It obviously is run by the state, so we're along for the ride, if you will, on where it goes. But I'm very comfortable that Jim will be the right person to be involved in this effort. 2 days ago, we held a public meeting at Lincoln Park Elementary School in Sparks for the Prater Way Rehabilitation Project. We wanted to let residents know about our proposal to reduce the number of traffic lanes and improve safety between Pyramid Way and Stanford Way. More than 30 residents showed up to learn about the project. I want to thank Mayor Lawson and the Sparks City Council members for attending. Always good attendance in Sparks when we have these public meetings. And we will be having a follow-up meeting. We're going to have a second meeting as a result of some glitches in notification, but we'll make sure we over-communicate this project before it's actually brought forward. It does reflect some of the challenges that, maybe we've taken it for granted with as much work as we've done, but people definitely have opinions and thoughts on transportation, as I'm sure you all know. So we will continue to work with the City of Sparks and the community on that project. Glad to say once again, RTC is partnering with Washoe County, Target, and KOLO TV for the annual Stuff a Bus clothing drive for children in care. We'll park a bus at the Sparks Target from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. on Friday, January 30th to take donations. The Washoe County Human Services Agency will distribute the items to foster and adoptive children at the HSA Family Engagement Center through the winter. We encourage everyone to stop by and donate winter clothing, blankets, and gift cards. Speaking again of staff, I wanted to share that Susie Trinidad, is Susie here today?
There
Are
she
you
is.
hiding in the back? I think we all know the value that Susie provides to our organization. She's been with RTC for 20 years
Wow.
and started working January 9th, 2006 for RTC. So I know for me, she's the go-to person in Jim whenever there's challenges, particularly in the world of senior services, and she does a stand-up job in communicating with people with disabilities and seniors, and really is a gem and an extremely valuable person. So thank you, Susie, for all you've done in your 20 years. And
Yes, Susie. Thank you.
so the last information I want to share with the board is just to update you on something I did recently, which is I sent a letter to the U.S. Department of Transportation on behalf of RTC. And what that letter did was explain our concern and opposition to the proposed relaxing of the CAFE standards. And those are, for those who aren't familiar with that term, it's corporate average fuel economy. And the reason we're doing that is because we as an agency are dependent on our air quality, meeting air quality standards in order to get to our federal funding. So from a simple economic standpoint, anything that happens that makes it harder for us to meet those federal air standards risks our money to provide transportation in our community. So we know that this letter is probably going to go with about 4,000 others. There's a lot of people that are concerned about just the blanket change on fuel economy and how it ripples through not only the communities for air quality. So I just wanted to share that we've sent that, and we will keep you apprised as the issue develops.
Okay.
So that concludes my comments today.
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions for Mr. Thomas? Okay, thank you. We will now move to Paul Nelson, 6'2", Government Affairs Officer on Federal Matters for RTC.
Paul Nelson, RTC Government Affairs Officer. So Congress is still working towards passing their 6 remaining appropriations bills. The Senate just passed 3 of them yesterday, so we're halfway there. Top appropriators in the House and the Senate have come to a deal on spending levels. Now they just have to finish it with what they're planning on doing with mini buses, so passing them as packages. Leadership is packaging the THUD bill with Defense and Labor and Health and Human Services. We expect this package any day now, and there could be a vote next week or the week after, sometime before the end of the month. The only hangup right now that we're seeing is with the immigration clashes that are happening in Minneapolis and other places. That could stall the Homeland Security bill, and then that could delay the THUD bill from passing. So if they don't pass it by that January 30th deadline, the likelihood would be that they would pass short-term CRs, and then THUD would pass more than likely in early February. The timing of the THUD bill means that the fiscal year 26 bus and bus facilities and low and no emissions grants will probably be released in late March or late February or early March. RTC is working on an application for the build grant for the Sun Valley Boulevard Corridor project. Our ask is for the maximum of $25 million, and that is due February 24th. DOT's Bureau of Transportation Statistics released its report on inflation in infrastructure. The National Highway Cost Construction Index was 17.3%, 27.6%, and 11.9% in the 3 years from 2021 to 2023. So as you can imagine, that's well above what the general rate of inflation is. And that concludes my report.
Thank you so much. Any questions for Mr. Nelson? Okay, thank you. We will now move into 6.3. This is an update from NDOT. Ms. Rosenberg is here.
Thank you. Nice to see you all again today. Happy New Year, still-ish, right? Let's see here. Been a while since I've done this. There we go. I wanted to provide a recap of our Christmas week storm that you all were probably aware of. The storm began December 22nd and ran through December 26th. As we all saw, the storm primarily brought rain into the valleys and substantial snow into the mountains. Our highway crews worked staggered 12-hour shifts throughout the storm, including on Christmas Day. So, I forgot to mention our board meeting earlier this week when we talked about this. I want to provide a kudos to all our maintenance workers that do these 12-hour shifts regardless of what day it is, so taking time away from their families. We also have folks from throughout the department that volunteer to help with traffic control. So there are also folks that their day job is in the office and headquarters that were out there in the storm as well. So just want to kudos to those folks as well, keeping you all safe out there in these storms. Since it's our highest highway pass at 9,000 foot elevation that's open year round in this year, the snow is particularly impactful on Mount Rose Highway. In just 3 days, Mount Rose received nearly 50 inches of snow. The highway summit was closed beginning December 24th through midday December 26th. It was wet, heavy snow that was compacted by vehicle tires and then froze, creating a snowpack on the highway. Crews did work those 12-hour shifts to grade and remove the ice pack and clear back snow to create roadside pullouts for driver safety, and we reopened the highway at 11 a.m. on December 26th. But the good news is that families were still able to enjoy holiday snow time. We kept the highway open from Reno to Mount Rose Ski Resort, even when the highway summit was closed. We saw miles of vehicles traveling from Reno for some holiday snow time during Christmas and the day after. More recently, on Thursday, January 8th, an overnight storm briefly impacted northern Nevada roads with morning winter driving conditions. And I just want to say, driving through that morning, I did appreciate, for the most part, people were driving slower, and we appreciate that. It's worth it to take a little more time to get to work and have you arrive safely, as well as your fellow drivers out there. Now I lost my place in my notes. I also want to follow up on a discussion November board meeting about winter operations coordination between NDOT and the city of Reno. As our district engineer, Bhupinder Sandhu, mentioned at the November meeting, we coordinate with the city and our fellow partner agencies as needed before and during major storms. And we have a meeting this coming Thursday, January 22nd, to meet with city public works staff. This will help ensure continuing winter coordination and to discuss any new opportunities or operational updates. We're also including public communications on the meeting agenda, which will help ensure that we continue to work together to amplify and share important storm-related messaging. A heads up on an upcoming major project. This spring, we will launch a project to resurface 1.5 miles of Pyramid Highway in downtown Sparks. This is an important roadway preservation project that will replace aging roadway surface from Nugget Avenue near I-80 to York Way, just south of North McCarran. The road was last fully repaved in 2010, so it's definitely in need of it. Project will also enhance mobility. We will be reconstructing the majority of sidewalk and enhancing sidewalk and driveway ramps. We'll install pedestrian crossing signals at the intersections of D Street, F Street, L Street, and Holman Way. The signals allow pedestrians to activate crossing signals for traffic to stop. Approximately 28,000 drivers travel this busy roadway daily, so we know that it's heavily traveled, and we will do all that is possible to reduce the traffic impact. 2 lanes in each direction will remain open during daytime hours with overnight lane reductions. There will be occasional weekend major construction closures, but we will notify the community well in advance. We'll also be keeping businesses and residences updated directly with construction updates. And we already have a stakeholder list and will soon begin providing project updates to the community. We also have coordinated nearby road projects. We have coordinated with and will continue to coordinate with the nearby roadway projects and community events. This includes keeping open lines of communication with RTC project managers on nearby Sparks Boulevard and Crater Way projects. I will add, though, although we anticipated keeping 2 lanes in each direction during daytime hours for the majority of the project, there will potentially be an occasional closure during the week if we have what we call marathon weeks, where we just want to get in, get things done, and get out. But we will communicate that far in advance of that. Another look ahead, over the coming months, drivers will see lane shifts on US 395. I didn't change it on mine, but not up there. On US 395 as crews continue progress in a project to widen 395 in the North Valleys. Highway lanes in both directions will be shifted from the outside to inside lanes in the work zone. Recently, crews constructed new bridge decks on the inside of the highway lanes. And coming soon, traffic on both directions of the highway will be slightly shifted to the inside as bridge decks are constructed on the outer lanes. The exact date of the traffic shifts is subject to change based on weather impacts. This includes the cold weather, which does not allow for paving. We anticipate the lane shift will begin mid-February or March, and we'll give public and community a heads up in advance of the lane shifts. And important to note, this will not reduce the number of lanes through the work zone. And again, we appreciate everyone's patience on that project. It's sorely needed, and as you know, when we need these projects, which means some construction impacts, and again, we appreciate everyone's patience with that. An update from last month's Strategic Highway Safety Plan discussion. This month's the state updated Strategic Highway Plan was signed by Governor Lombardo and is now waiting on Federal Highway Administration approval. As mentioned last month, traffic safety partners across the state update the plan every 5 years as required by federal guidance. Most importantly, the plan is continuing effort to save lives on Nevada roads. NDOT leads the safety plan, but is in collaboration with all of Nevada's traffic safety partners. The 2026 to 2030 Strategic Highway Safety Plan will launch this month. We know that our traffic safety efforts are stronger and more successful with local partners. Anyone interested can reach out to NDOT's traffic safety engineering team to learn more. And I will say this is in partnership with the Nevada Advisory Committee on Traffic Safety, which RTC is a partner in, and then RTC cities, counties are already participating and welcome to participate in several of the task forces that we have associated with this. Our numbers from last year have gone down from the prior year, which is great news, although they're still far too high. So we appreciate your partnership in helping to improve safety on Nevada's roadways. And with that, I'm happy to take any questions.
Thank you. Any questions for Ms. Rosenberg? No, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we will now move into item 7, Commissioner announcements and updates, and I'll start with you, Mayor Lawson.
So I would like to direct staff to extend the comment period on the Northeast Connector. But rather than leaving it open-ended, I would like to have an end date. If I know people are like me who wait until the last minute to get things done. So let's have an end date, whatever that date that you guys feel is appropriate. And then I would also like to see an additional meeting for the residents.
Okay. Commissioner Garcia? Okay. Well, thank you for that. We'll now move into item 8, which is our final public comment. Madam Clerk.
Yes, Carlos Elizondo Reyna.
Great.
Yes, my name is Carlos Elizondo Reyna. And the reason I am here is because at 4th Street Station, the men's restrooms, I mean, you gotta do something about it. They are possessed by the homeless, and you had to, there was a line there to wait for everything. And they're really, really dirty. I mean, the janitor, they're not doing a good job, they don't have a good sanitation. I just stopped this morning there, and they're open from 8 to 9, and I went in there and used the restroom, and they clean it, but This duty is still staying spiral over there. You gotta do something about those two things, provide a good sanitation, for the customer and, do something about this. The persons are possessed by the homeless, there's always a line there, when the store's always sitting there, they fall asleep and, you listen to music, you hear they play music inside there and you gotta do something about it. You gotta crack down on this. Just
Thank you.
No further public comment.
Okay, thank you. And we'll definitely look into the restroom issue. We really appreciate you bringing that up to us. Okay, well, that is our final public comment. It is 9:55. Thanks for a great meeting. We are adjourned.